Welcome, Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Shira. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here tonight and talk about distinguished company. We have, it's been in the chat, we have the best leaders in Connecticut, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Indivisible Stamford, Pink Wave Action, and Women on Watch for convening us and hosting this evening. Last year on this day, a very small group of people, a mere fraction of America, a mob, a gang of right-wing militants sought to overthrow what I consider to be the very foundation of our democratic system, to overthrow what's most important to most of us, what we hold most dear, this understanding that by casting our vote, we get to decide the outcome of elections. And if you're like me, you heard a lot today about how so many members of Congress feared for their own lives, how one man's ego sought to usurp our democracy, how some of those elected to uphold the Constitution are still working in service of our former president and ignoring the rule of law. But tonight, I'm not giving them any more airtime. And instead, I'm going to focus my remarks on you, on us, because I think sometimes it's good to be reminded that we are the government. In my opinion, what transpired on the 6th cannot be viewed as the result of one man's efforts or even the culmination of one presidential term. In 1789, when George Washington was elected our first president, more people were left off the list of voters qualified to cast a ballot than were on it. And in 1876, our president was selected by the Electoral College system rather than by national popular vote. And as we know, that happened again and again. And again, most recently, when Donald Trump lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton, yet became our 45th president. In 2004 and 2006, Facebook and Twitter launched. And today, these largely unregulated companies have over 2 billion and 400 million users, respectively. And stick with me, a few more facts. In 2008, the Census Bureau predicted a minority-majority population by the middle of this century, and a recent Pew study found that 59% of Republicans and 42% of Democrats said that a majority non-white population will weaken American culture. And in more recent decades, only about 60% of those eligible to vote voted in a presidential election, and only about 40% during midterms. Even in very high turnout years, such as 2018 and 2020, the United States lags compared to many other developed nations. So much has transpired since our nation's founding, which has led us to where we are today. Alienated, fearful, obstinate, intractable. But believe me when I say that you can make things right, that together we have the power to make things right. We can educate ourselves about candidates and how elections work. We can make it a point to vote in every single election and make sure everyone else can do the same. We can run for office, encourage others to run, volunteer, and donate to those who are running. We can engage with our family and friends and even coworkers in honest dialogue instead of leaving political discourse to comments on social media. We can protect our elected leaders by speaking out against hate instead of normalizing hate speech as part of what we signed up for. We can fight against sexism, racism, individualism, all the isms. We can treat social media as the entertainment platforms they are rather than as arbiters of truth. We can stop saying that what is happening around the country is not happening in Connecticut. And we can refuse to believe that our democracy is crumbling and instead work to shore it up. On January 6th, our former president said in a speech that day, "If you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore." And he used that speech to inspire violence and murder, to foment fear, to subvert our Constitution. But I'm using it here tonight to remind us that the majority of Americans did not show up at the Capitol that day, to inspire you to get involved if you're not involved, to stay involved if you're already involved, and work to protect our democracy, and to encourage you to do everything you can, truly everything you can, to ensure that we have a representative government through election and voting reforms that will bring more voices to the table. I think that until each of us can say, what can I do? More than we say what they are doing to us, we will not win. We won't win. You've heard tonight what our elected officials propose. You've heard many actions that we can all do. Next, you'll hear from voting rights advocates about their efforts. But all of us, we need your help. And not just today, we need it every day. We need it again and again and again and still again. It is our responsibility as citizens to believe that we can be better than this and then act each and every day to make it so. So I hope tonight serves as a rallying cry to protect our democracy, one in which we, the people, get to decide the outcome. Thank you for listening.